Xbox Play Anywhere is a tagline, right? And honestly, when you consider, this is an Xbox and what they're doing with that and allowing for you as the gamer to choose where you play your games. Now, more specifically, why this is super important and why we're starting to see why Xbox Play Anywhere is a part of the bigger picture, right? So when the rollout for this is an Xbox, look, wasn't the greatest. And it's not because the marketing team didn't put the work in. They did. It didn't hit like I think they thought it was going to. Though it's an amazing thing. You got to think about this for a second, folks. If you are an Xbox customer, if you are an Xbox player, what Xbox and what Microsoft are doing for you as this customer is telling you, hey, you bought the box and you can always go and play your Xbox. You can always turn on the power button, it's plugged into your TV or your monitor, and you go. And that is what's been the standard for decades. But this new way of playing, meaning that you can play on your TV, your PC, your tablet, your phone, anything that has a screen is incredible. And I can tell you this right now, folks. Look, I know that a lot of people in the chat are not as old as me. And I understand I'm the dinosaur in the room. It's not a problem. I'm privileged to be this old because, my pops passed away at 45. So I've surpassed my pops. Right. So
that's awesome.
So thank you. But the point is, and I don't mean to bring us down, just for context, be happy at your age because nothing is guaranteed. Same thing with gaming, right? Same thing with what companies supposedly owe you, right? Do companies owe you anything? No, you are a number, right? No matter how much you love a brand, you are a number and you are in the big cog that just continues to turn around. And Sony abuses their customers by nickel-and-diming them. Nintendo, in some cases, abuses their customers' loyalty by making them buy the same game. I'm the blame. I've done it. I bought Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, bought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch, bought all the DLC that I had on the Wii U, and it was updated, and I paid for it, and I gladly did. I'm a Nintendo kid. I have always been since 1985. This is where Xbox is doing something that it's a terminology that you hear where, we've heard it in some simplistic terms, shaking up the industry, right? They've done that with Xbox Game Pass in 2017, right? They took the industry as it was known and they shook it and said, we're doing something different. We're changing the way you buy your games. And we've been living with that ever since. And Game Pass right now, especially in 2025, is by far the greatest deal in gaming. I don't care what anyone tells you. Oh, I want to own my games. You can do that. You can buy every one of these games at a discount on Xbox Game Pass digitally. If you want to go out and buy your stuff physically, you can still do that. Nothing has been taken away from you. This Xbox Play Anywhere thing, this is another opportunity to move the industry forward. See, I gotta just take this call.
That's fine.
Let me know what you think.
Yeah. So I know, like I see in the chat, right? I think there's like this situation where people feel like you have to have it like one way or the other when it comes to this Xbox Play Anywhere versus exclusives. Like the whole exclusive thing is not like, because I just saw it in the chat. Like it's not something that we need to like keep bringing up as a thing because there's nothing about it that makes you enjoy a game more. You know what I'm saying?
It's a
Like you're
console
getting
war
the game saying Game Pass.
check
Yeah.
mark, if you will.
Yeah, like Xbox is, you know, you gotta understand the people who are sitting there upset, and I'm not talking about the Xbox side, I'm talking about that side, right? The people who are sitting there upset about what Xbox is doing, they're upset that Xbox is not going away, right? They thought that they were going to get this, you know, victory where they would see Xbox, you know, fold, right? They would see Microsoft say Xbox is done, it's irrelevant, so we're not going to have it anymore. That's what the ponies and all those people over there on that side, that's why they're mad. That's why they try to gaslight you into thinking that the world is over because they also get to buy the game. Newsflash. It's very simple. No one could ever stop any of those PlayStation people from buying it on a PC and playing that game, from paying the $20 a month and playing it on the cloud. You couldn't stop them from going to buy a $200 Xbox Series S or buy a used one for even cheaper, right?
Yeah.
You could not stop them from experiencing that game. So the idea that them having to purchase it on a PlayStation versus some other way, the idea that that is an issue, it just doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense. Like we have to start moving away from the pony narrative, right? That's the narrative that they want you to sit there and feel. And again, I can appreciate that we all, you know, grew up on this idea of what gaming was, but that is not what gaming is.
Yeah, well,
right?
the business has changed, brother. That's
The
just
business is absolutely changing, right? The PC used to be the niche way of playing the games. Not the people who played on PC didn't feel that way, but everybody else who the mainstream was console, right? But PC has risen up, all right.
Yes, they
Where
have.
PC is taking over, man. And you have to be able to be everywhere. It just makes sense. The dollars, these games don't cost what they cost back in the day, bro. Like, understand, like, you got to be realistic, man. And I'm sorry, I'm never going to want them to stop advancing and stop pushing the genre forward and making things look better and play better and experiment. And especially on Xbox side, take risk, right? Because we already see what happens with all these other places, bro. Like, yo, studios are shutting down. Big studios, people that you wouldn't think are going to get shut down have been shut down.
I literally said that the other day. That was the point that I'm glad you're bringing this up. The question I asked, and I was being very, very serious about this. And there are going to be some people in the chat see they're like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Yeah, I don't care. That's because you are a baby, a child that doesn't look past their nose. Man. How many studios have to close? How many studios have to be bought up and then closed? How many people have to be out of work that make the games you're privileged to play before you're like, yeah, you know what? I understand why this is happening. Because if you're thumbing your nose, look, folks, I am one of the oldest guys here, right? I know there's people that are older than me, and we're all graybeards, and that's awesome. But the reality is, I literally put out a video today that talks about, did the Xbox community bend the knee for the multi-plat future of Xbox? And the truth of the matter is no. I have people that are clipping me that are saying, oh, look at this bot. He was against it. Now he's for it. What a suck ass.
You know, times change, bro.
But
times
change.
Dude, we're not. First of all, if you use that, anybody who uses that argument, anybody who does that, I am almost certain that that's a peek into your life.
Yes.
Because if you don't look at things and say, I can make new decisions based off of new information, if you cannot do that, then that's going to trickle down in all of your life. And that's how I still have cousins that I grew up with that are still stuck in the hood and I done moved out, right? Yeah. Like this is people, some people are stuck. They don't want to leave what they knew. I'm sorry, man. Times change, bro. I don't give a crap about anything other than the games that I get to play. Okay. This is the reality of what it is. And what the conditioning that I care about that I don't want Xbox going back on. Okay. This is the conditioning that I care about. I don't want to hear about the other condition. I don't give a shit about that one. The conditioning I care about is Game Pass. You done conditioned me to have Game Pass. Don't take my Game Pass away and don't ruin my Game Pass. Keep giving me Game Pass and I'm golden. And I honestly, it doesn't matter to me. The idea that people have gone out there, and I've seen people clip all type of people, like we just talked about on the show. Was it last night? Was it last night show or Tuesday? What? No, today's Thursday. Tuesday show. I saw Paris in the chat, right?
Yes, so Paris actually said something really good. He says social media is filled with miserable, unserious people. Thank you.
Yeah,
there you go, folks. Breaking news.
So we just talked social about that dude who quote tweeted him and trying to say that he was championing exclusives and not don't get gaslit. What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No, these people are so delusional that they are trying to say that we are gaslighting them. And it's like, are you crazy, bro? You're the ones who are pissed that we're not pissed. You know what I'm saying? You're pissed that us, the people who own the Xboxes and who are in this ecosystem are not mad. Why? Because for you, this is not about gaming. For you, this is about some bullshit war that you think you're winning. It was fun when it was happening. Xbox left you behind. See, they were playing in the dirt with you, right? They were little Nintendo, right? Your little Nintendo, little PlayStation, Xbox. They were all in the dirt, wrestling, being silly, right? It was fun. It was fun. But Xbox said, you know what? Instead of having to shut all of our studios down and only release one game a year, you know, a la another competing platform that they want to big up, yet they forgot that the reason they want that platform is to play games from that platform, but that platform is not releasing games. Instead of doing that, let's go ahead and, I don't know, let's maybe mimic the entire strategy that took Microsoft from a company that maybe was worth around what Sony is today to a company that's over $3 trillion. It's funny. I don't know, maybe the game plan of the company that figured out how to go from a smaller company to a gigantic company might work better than the company that figured out how to start as a smaller company and stay a small company. No, I'm sorry. Microsoft understands what to do. We've all lived that life now. Don't tell me that you're okay with the idea of, man, YouTube only on the Android devices. That's it. That's the only place. If you want YouTube, you got to go on Android. Nope, not on the computer. Google doesn't own the computer. They only own Android platform. So that's the only place you can get it. Like, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. All right. And yes, before, back in the day, that's what it was. Times have changed, bro. Times have changed. Stop crying. You don't need exclusive. If you need exclusive so bad, if that's going to break your heart that you don't have games that are only on Xbox, then go to the other side. Hey, yeah. I heard Xbox games are coming over there. So guess what? You're not missing out. All you got to do is spend $70 every time they drop one, or be like the ponies who spend $100 on a 4-year-old game so they can get 4 days early. You know what I'm saying? Just be part of that squad then. Just do you. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stop crying about the same old shit. There's nothing to be sad about. There's a difference about like opinions. Oh, my opinion is this is not a opinion of, oh my God, this is a true possible feeling. This is just you being in your feelings. This is not based off reality. Reality has left you behind. The world already has moved on from this idea of exclusively having content somewhere that is not accessible everywhere. Netflix, you can open up everywhere. Netflix puts their movies on Blu-ray. They've done it. They've gone into theaters.
Yes.
This is not what you think it is. Of course, the world that we live in is different now. Just go with the change, fam. Go with the change. Stop letting these ponies dictate how you feel. And stop this. Oh, I need to show how mad I am so that my pony friends can like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. It's okay. They don't like you. You know
listen, it is what it is. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome in Paris Lilly joining us for the second time in a couple
Paris
of weeks.
in the
Paris,
building.
what's going on, brother? I saw your post, which is great. And again, this whole conversation started with the strides that Xbox is doing, right? You know, this is an Xbox. You had made mention about it a couple of months ago with a few other journalists that said, hey, listen, this is going to make sense soon. And of course, now the initiative, which I think is going to once again take the industry by its Buster Browns and shake it and change it. And that is the Xbox Play Anywhere. Now, not every game comes with this, but it is something to be marveled at, because at one point and this is where we should all want gaming to go. You buy a game one time. It doesn't matter where you buy that game should be playable everywhere. Now, I understand, well, if you buy a game on PlayStation 5 and it's a God of War 17, it should only be played on your PS 17. Sure, fine, whatever. But the way Xbox is doing things and the way they're working with their partners is say, hey, listen, we have this idea that every screen is going to be an Xbox, whether it be a handheld, your phone, your refrigerator. If it has a screen and has Wi-Fi, you can play an Xbox. It behooves Microsoft and its partners to say, because we've heard many people actually say this, people's spending habits will change. If a game is Play Anywhere, you'll get more people to buy that game because they can, in fact, play anywhere. Any thoughts to that, Paris? And of course, if you want to drop your bars on the stupidity of the community, that's fine as well.
I'll get to the stupidity in a second, but no, I mean, it's you clearly Xbox is going all in with this strategy. And, you know, and I've been a huge fan of Play Anywhere. I mean, going back to 2016, you know, it's like, wow, the game that I play on my Xbox, I can go play on my PlayStation. Well, hell, I guess you can now, but the game that I play on my Xbox, I can go play on my PC or vice versa. And all my progress follows me, and they're expanding upon that now. Obviously cloud plays a factor into it. We know all these handhelds and things like that are starting to come out. So and I'm doing air quotes, any open device or device that Xbox themselves own, Play Anywhere is going to be the strategy moving forward. So to your point, not every game today can do it, but you can safely assume every first party game moving forward is going to do Play Anywhere. That's a pretty safe assumption. And we're even starting to see it with Steam, you know, at games like Indiana Jones and Avowed, where there's a cloud save option in there so you can move your progress back and forth between the Xbox ecosystem and Steam. So sure, the exclusivity stuff and all that, and you guys already talked about it, that is no longer the reality of what Xbox is doing. We get it. You know, it's just the reality of the world. So this strategy now of, all right, I can play my games wherever I want. Who's complaining about that? And I will say someone way smarter than me said, if you look at it, it's about convenience. This current generation, our children. Yeah. They don't care about this brand. They don't care about Xbox and PlayStation and all that. They really don't. They care about convenience. They just laugh at us. Yeah, I want to play on the device that is in front of me. That's all they care about. And if Xbox is delivering that experience to multiple screens, again, this is an Xbox. That's just where it's headed. And of course, you're going to have people that are, now we'll get into the stupidity. Of course, you're going to have people that are going to kick and scream and fight against that. And they're going to clip you and quote tweet you and do all these weird things. But we're not the people that they're talking to anymore. Sure, we're the hardcore audience that's going to be online, that follows everything that they do. But they're selling to millions of other people that don't interact on social media, that aren't following Xbox's every word or PlayStation's every word. They just, and I always use my neighbor as an example. My neighbor buys one device so he can play Call of Duty, Madden, and NBA. That's all he cares about. And to your point, C Money, I'm with you as far as the Game Pass thing. I freaking love Game Pass. I don't care what nobody say, right? So look, don't take that from me. Oh, to keep that, exactly. Right? I don't work at Microsoft. I ain't Amy Hood, so I don't need to worry about the financials. I keep giving it to me. Exactly. That's all I care about. Y'all figure it out to make it sustainable. You know what I mean? So look, people are gonna do all this weird stuff. So again, like you kind of mentioned C Money, and I'm bringing this up too, C Money. I saw that someone that I've interacted with privately got extremely butthurt over the weekend, and I guess I'm this big bully mean guy now, right? You and I have talked privately, and it wasn't on the best of terms when we first talked, right?
Facts.
That's okay.
100%.
That's okay. 100%. And that's what I think people need to understand. You're not always going to agree. You're not always going to get along, but we're adults. And sure, there might have been some loud words and some cussing might start at the beginning, but you get to an understanding by the end. That's all that freaking matters on that stuff. So it's like, I've seen that, and I'm sure people have saw my interaction with a certain content creator over the weekend. That was on purpose. That was on purpose because at some point you can't let people just say whatever they want to say.
That is correct. There are limitations, 100%.
Do not, and I said this, I was saying this the other day, don't let people minimize your hard work. Don't let them do it.
Facts.
You don't get to tell me what my work is or my motivations behind work because you can't do it. It takes a long time and a lot of hard work and effort to get to a point where you're able to do some of the things that I've been lucky enough to do in the industry. So no, you're not going to minimize that. You're not going to name call out people and say what's the stupid astroturfing thing and all these other things that you see, because we know it's not true. It's just ridiculous. It's someone screaming into their echo chamber looking for attention is all it really is. But the whole point I'm bringing up on all that is you're always going to have people that are going to be critical of you. You're always going to have people that try to minimize your work or try and demean you. Again, the video clipping and all these things. Like, I found it hilarious. Like, you were bringing up the exclusivity stuff and all that. I've never been all for exclusivity. And it was so funny. Like, the stupid quote tweet, me talking about it was from 2021 after they acquired Bethesda. Yeah.
It's like that didn't even happen. Like, I was looking, we're reading your thing and then we go and read the quote tweet. And it's like, come on, man. Come on. Yeah. It's just this propaganda they're pushing out to try to create this atmosphere of why, like, if we're not trying to light Xbox up for doing this, we're some type of hypocrites or we're type of people who are full of it. Come on, man.
No, at the end of the day, it's video games, man. So this is what trips me out about this. Like, it's adult time now. Let's have an adult conversation. At the end of the day, it's video games. Who freaking cares? Go play where you want to play. One thing that I tell my children, and something my mother told me a very long time ago: stop worrying about what other people do. That amazes me. Stop worrying about that. I could care less where you want to go play your video games or what your favorite brand is or any of that. I'm worried about what I like. And that's all that matters to me. The rest of it is 100%. Just childish nonsense that you see online. Okay, PlayStation does exclusives. Nintendo does exclusives. We know that. No one's denying that. And it's not a bad thing because that's what they do. Obviously, Xbox, and I am just as guilty as anyone else because I've literally stood on the stage and said it. It mattered to them a few years ago. Now it doesn't. So what are you going to do? Am I going to stop playing Halo or Gears or Forza or any of that because they're not exclusive to Xbox? No, I'm going to keep playing them because they're games that I want to play.
Years are still years. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. I feel like it's easy to look at it like, oh, it wasn't so long ago. Yeah, because time constantly moves, things constantly change.
Yep.
Right. Tomorrow, something can happen that completely derails every plan you ever had. Right. And
business.
Just because it comes up, even in real life. Right. It's just, this is what it is. Right. You don't know what's happening and you have to adjust. And they are adjusting, right? And they're adjusting in a way that it doesn't hurt us, right? It doesn't hurt us.
The only thing that it hurts, and it's why I asked Phil Spencer the question, why am I buying an Xbox then? You now, Xbox, Microsoft as a company, you now need to convince me to go buy your hardware. Whereas in the past, the convincing was, well, I want to play Halo. I want to play Gears. I want to play Forza. I better have an Xbox to go play it. They are now telling you as we move into this next generation of gaming, they got to find a different way to convince me to buy the hardware, or I'm just going to go buy a PlayStation or Nintendo or PC and go play it there. So that's on them. That's not on me as a consumer.
Yeah, that's their problem. But to be fair, we've already been down this road where they had all the exclusives. And how did that work out for them? They stood in the same spot, right? Number 3 every time, right? The exclusive game already took place. They were like, they're not new. They've been in that field, and no matter what they do, PlayStation's name brand has already been ingrained, and it's worldwide, right? Xbox, no matter what they do, they can't do it. Right now with Forza Horizon, they're seeing success that they haven't seen in forever because they're number one in countries that they never would have been number one in.
Wait till Starfield comes this year.
Well, and it's just a start, right? I think the point is like, technically there is a big fundamental reason to stay exclusively in the Xbox ecosystem. And I include PC in that because if we all know, right, Windows is Microsoft. So when you buy a PC, right, if you say to yourself, I'm going to go buy a PC right now, there is a license fee for that Windows program that's installed on that PC. And when you buy that PC, Microsoft gets a cut. More than likely, it's a much bigger cut than when they sell a console to you. You know what I'm saying? So theoretically, every time you buy a PC because you want to stick it to Microsoft, you're actually going to be giving them more just out of that one situation. Game Pass is the key. Until Game Pass is in the PlayStation ecosystem or in the Nintendo ecosystem, which they want it to be, but the other companies won't let them. Until that happens, then you'll really be like, okay, well, now where I want to buy, right? That's the real, like, if Game Pass was on PlayStation, yes, 100% it becomes oh, well, sure, I'll just buy a PlayStation then because I get this and Game Pass. But you have to be making a choice to say, I'm an Xbox user now, but even though I have Game Pass and I enjoy it, I'm going to ditch Xbox, I'm going to ditch PC, I'm going to ditch Game Pass, and I'm just going to buy a PlayStation and spend $70 on the very games that I knew I was going to get in my Game Pass subscription, right? And at this rate, where you're talking about the amount of games that Xbox is releasing, right? This is not PlayStation. This is not 1 or 2 games a year. If you're an Xbox fan who buys Xbox games, that means you're going to go buy a PlayStation and do, like, they're releasing, what, 6 games? 5 or 6 games this year on PlayStation. Like, you're going to spend $300, $400 on PlayStation. On Xbox games on your PlayStation. Like, the math don't math, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're fiscally responsible, if you are responsible with your money, you're going to have to look at it and say, wow, I'm buying a lot of Xbox games every year. If I just bought the $300 Series S or got it used, I could get Game Pass for less than what it's costing me to buy all these individual games
and still have your PlayStation and buy
and
those
still have the
games
PlayStation
there.
to do the other thing, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, they're not going to see it that way, right? And they haven't seen it that way. That's why Game Pass hasn't caused this mass, you know, exodus, right? PlayStation players are staying over there. Why? Because just like you said, Paris, your neighbor, he could give three craps about Game Pass because he buys Call of Duty, NBA, and Madden. Done.
Yeah. I mean, but see, that goes to the whole point of, I just feel like it's this pointless juvenile arguing that you constantly see over this, to where it's like, okay, we get it. You like brand X. Congrats. Enjoy it. No one's telling you not to. People like what they like. So not everyone's going to subscribe to Game Pass. That's not for everyone. And that is okay. You can still go buy the games just as much as you want to. I mean, if you look at the percentages of the Xbox, user base versus the amount of people that actually subscribe to Game Pass, I want to say it's 20% or something like that. It kind of is capped out at whatever that number is. It's not like 100%, 80% of people that are on Xbox are on Game Pass. So people are still buying games. People still like buying games. But the fact that you have the subscription service, and I've said this many times over the years, Game Pass only works if you have content.
Yes.
And we know Xbox has a couple of rough years there, especially 2022. They ain't had nothing.
Terrible.
So at that point, I understand people being frustrated. Game Pass, why am I paying for this? We're now starting to see towards the end of last year, and as we obviously pivot here into this year and beyond, they're starting to get that steady flow of content that you're going to want to stay subscribed to it every month because they're giving you stuff that you want to go play. But not everybody's trying to play 5, 6, 7, 8 games a year. Some people, like I said, my neighbor, he plays his 3 games a year and he's good. So maybe for him, it doesn't make financial sense to spend $20 a month. I just go buy the games, $60, $70 a pop, and I'm good. That's all I'm going to play every year. And that's what I mean, man. I mean, people love to argue stuff and all that. For the love of God, please clip this and put it on the internet. Let people enjoy. Let people
They won't clip. They don't clip
no.
the ones that they know that they can't twist. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They don't clip
No, I know.
They don't
I
clip
know.
it. Especially, you know what's my favorite? When they clip you and edit as well. Like,
Yes.
like they clip it and then
putting
they
in that
edit
work.
out a piece.
You know what the funny, speaking of that, you know what the funniest one was? Because, you know, we talked to Peter Moore a couple weeks ago, right? And, you know, I'd asked him the question. He talked about how, I encourage the console wars and all that. Someone clipped it and edited it to make it look like me and Danny were sad that he said that. It was like,
that's work right there.
Yeah,
man.
it was like, wow, y'all got way too much time on your hands for that stuff. But look, I'll say this just to move forward because I don't want to take up too much of your time. For me personally, I'm excited about the future of where Xbox is headed as far as when I look at all the studios they have and the games they are making. I see a lot of games that I want to play, right? I get the controversy over this partnered handheld that might come out this year. The fact that it's not going to play all of your Xbox games. It essentially is still a PC handheld. But I think what people need to realize is 2025, in my opinion, is about what Jason Ronald and his team is doing to make that PC UI on the handheld more accessible. Because I've said it to him directly and I've said it to other people. I want to press the button. I'm in the Xbox experience and I play the game. That's all I care about. Give me that. If you want the extra, I go to the desktop mode and I want to load Steam and do all these things. Great. But for my Xbox games, I want a handheld that I press the button. It loads me into the Xbox experience. I see the game that I want to play and I hit play and I'm good. And that's where I think they're striving to get to in 2025. So I will be interested to see what this partnered handheld looks like from an Xbox user experience, because right now I have the Rogue Ally and all that stuff. It works, but it's not the best. The Xbox app on there isn't the best. It's cumbersome. And this is the whole point. They got to fix that first before they come out with their own hardware that is backwards compatible to my entire digital library. That is, in my opinion, that is the next gen hardware from Xbox that I will 100% get, because that is something I want. The console itself, we'll see, because I have options that I don't necessarily need to get the console for next gen. So let's see what they do for that to make me want to get the console that sits under my TV. But that handheld, in my opinion, that'll be the thing that I would want to get. And obviously all these great games that are coming out.
Yeah, so listen, let me just add some context to that, because I'm the perfect case study for the next gen console, right? The question that's being asked, and you asked a great one, why should I buy the next piece of hardware? And here's why. And again, this is case study Boom 101, right? I have the funds to buy a PC, a laptop, or a rig at any time I want. And anytime I want, I can say that one that's $3,700 that comes with the 50 whatever, I can go. I don't want that life. PC has never been for me. But this is where it gets very interesting. If this rumored open source box, which Phil Spencer himself said that we need to make this console different than the consoles before it to attract people to buy it. It can't be an Xbox Series, whatever, that's the same thing. That didn't work for them. This is why I'm dead set on the PlayStation 6 being a very powerful piece of hardware, but it's going to be a PlayStation 5 with all the bells and whistles. They're not going to change. This is where Xbox comes in and changes the game once again. So for me, I'm a Steam user once a year, right? They'll have a demo like the G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra that came out there first. The side-scrolling beating up that no one gives a shit about, but I care. I care about it because I like G.I. Joe and I like side-scrollers, right? So I downloaded it and I played it because it wasn't available on my console. This is where it gets very interesting, Paris and C. Again, I'm not a Steam customer, but if that box gives me the ability to buy a game that's only available on Steam, like let's say a roguelite that's like Vampire Survivors, it's just on PC and not everywhere else, I then go to the store, I buy this game, I play it on this open source Xbox. What does that make me? I am now a Steam customer. They're getting money from someone that they would normally never get a red cent from. And this is the importance of this next Xbox. I mean, that's
Agreed.
just my thoughts.
Agreed. I mean, I'm in the same boat with the when it comes to PC and hand. Like I have the 4090. I'm trying to get the 5090, but it's melting things. So waiting for that to get fixed, and hopefully I can get one. Yeah, I mean, the PC experience, I've always like dreamt of this world where I could just turn my PC into like a de facto console. You know what I'm saying? It's just like my PC console where it just loads right into gaming. I know Steam big picture mode, you can do that, but I'm an Xbox dude, not a Steam dude. So I mean, I have so many Steam games, but not the ones that I want, right? Xbox Game Pass is here, and that's where I want it. So I want them to make that handheld and that PC layer, and I think that's the goal, right? I think the same thing they're going to do on the handheld. They should have like this mode that you could do on the PC or this layer you could play on top of it. But that's really that's the thing. If they can, you nailed it, Paris, with the idea of using this one as the buffer.
Yes.
Right. Use this console, this handheld as your practice. Let's get this right, and then let's make the official Xbox branded one.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you got to get the UI and the software right first before you then go, hey, here. And not to mention, I think again, 2027 seems like a long ways away, but you're also going to think about this. They're probably looking at future tech on the handheld level, on the mobile level, as far as performance goes, battery goes, screen, and obviously price is going to be a factor because I'm convinced this thing ain't going to be cheap.
No,
especially if it was to come out now, it would not be cheap. I also think you're probably going to see in the next couple of years Valve have a Steam Deck 2 come out as hardware tech advances and all of that. So they're probably going to be competitive on that level too. Like, trust me, I want the handheld. I wish it would come today, but you don't have to get this partnered Asus one, because I guess the reality is if you already have a Rogue Ally, you have the Legion Go or whatever this Xbox UI is going to be, whatever the improvements are going to happen, they're going to be on that hardware too.
Yes,
so if you already have one, you're not going to necessarily need to run out and go buy it. Of course, I'm curious to see what it's going to look like. I'm sure it's going to be very
it's not going to look like the Xbox One though.
Right.
That's what I want.
But your games would be playable on it. And, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, listen, again, first of all, Paris, thanks so much for popping in here, dude. Super appreciate it.
I'm always lurking, man. I'm always lurking. So
I'll say this, Paris. I'll say this. I'm very lucky because yesterday we had Destin Legary jump on the show. Today we got Paris Lilly jumping on the show. This has been one hell of a week for a podcaster that still hasn't hit 16,000 subscribers. So I am incredibly honored and grateful for it because, again, like I said, we got a chance to meet for the first time last June. I'm going to be out in LA during the summer events. I'm sure you and Danny and the missus are going to be there as well, along with Destin. Destin's already been confirmed to be there. So I'm looking forward to catching up. And again, the Future Game Show later this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. People Can Fly. They've already put it out there. They're going to show something off. What that is, we don't know. And, of course, getting back, to the topic that we're talking about, Xbox Play Anywhere. is another industry-changing, future-proof move that Xbox is in line to do first. And there's a lot to get excited about, especially when you consider how expensive things are. Every cent that you spend on gaming, it should benefit you as the consumer. It shouldn't take away. But Paris, brother, before we get on out of here, tell everyone not only where they can follow you and potentially clip you, because we're always getting clipped, but talk about your YouTube channel, because we know that you're on Kind of Funny. We know that you've been working for years with Danny Pena, and you do a great job on Gamertag Radio. But you started your YouTube channel, which, by the way, has exploded on the scene. Talk about it. Where can people subscribe, man?
So a couple of things I want to say, but I'll talk about that first, but I want to end on one thing. So yeah, number one, I'm lazy as far as the YouTube channel goes, but yeah, I do my YouTube channel, but it's just something fun to do. It's like where I just want to express my own opinions. I'll live stream every now and again. Like I put up, NVIDIA, they gave me early access to the Half-Life 2 RTX demo. So I put out a video on that.
Nice.
I'll do, little stuff like that when I have time. Like you said, I'm on Kind of Funny. I'm on Gamertag Radio as well. But I mean, as my schedule frees up here the rest of the year, because, my day job takes up a lot of my time here early in the year with audits and compliance stuff. But once I'm done with that, probably after Summer Game Fest, I'll definitely do more stuff on my YouTube channel. But that brings me to the point that I wanted to make. Like you mentioned, we've met face to face, and you're at Summer Game Fest last year, and it was a pleasure being able to see you and hang out, and like other people, like the Iron Lords were there, and all these other people, that I get to interact with online. We get to meet face to face, and that's the point I want to make as I leave here and you end the show. And C Money, we have not met yet, and I look forward to the day that we meet. Because look, we can argue, we can shit talk online all we want, do the memes and all this other crazy stuff, but the energy is always different when you're in person, because there's no drama, no one's arguing, no one's doing none of this silly shit that you see online. Everyone is there to have fun, to have a good time, to socialize and all that. And those are the moments that I cherish. Like I even saw in your chat, somebody was shit talking me earlier. Bro, I don't care about you. I legitimately don't, because we both know you don't talk like that to anybody in person.
They would never.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing about the online. It gives you a lot of liquid courage to say crazy stuff online. So I have a reputation now that I'm a bully and I confront people and all this kind of stuff. But the truth of the matter is, you don't get to talk to people any kind of way that you want and think someone's not going to push back. And the point I'm making is, when we're in person, none of this stuff happens. So it'll be great to see you again at Summer Game Fest. I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely be there. And let's have fun, man. It's supposed to be gaming. It's not supposed to be about all this stupid internet drama.
Absolutely, brother. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us, Paris. Enjoy the rest of your day.
We'll
be hanging out soon enough.
Easy, brother.
Looking forward to what you guys are going to continue to do on Kind of Funny, as well as Gamertag Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, please follow Paris Lilly for all the greatest and latest news. He works his ass off, and he joined us today for about 20 minutes, which is maybe even a little bit more than that. So thank you, Paris. Appreciate you being here. C Money, let's sell your brand, kind sir, On Point for Gamers. You do a lot of work during the week. I believe it's up to 4 shows. Sometimes it's even a 5th one when you have the time. Talk about it. Where can they check out you? And, of course, the missus, which is Doodle. If you didn't know who she was, you should follow her as well. Talk about On Point for Gamers, where they can subscribe, and more importantly, where can people follow you on social media?
Awesome, man. Well, first of all, thank you, brother. Love doing the show. Shout out to Paris coming to stop by. That was dope to come rock out for a little bit. Yeah, man. Boom. Appreciate you, man. I love doing the show. So glad to be here. Remember, Thursdays, 12 p.m. We're here, baby. So come check us out. Before I go into the other thing, I do just want to make one comment about Play Anywhere, because I wanted to say it and I just kind of I forgot. The one thing I will say is that I am seeing a lot of this people coming at, like, this is like, I forget what it was in the past, but like people coming at Microsoft about games that are not Xbox Play Anywhere, that are not owned by Microsoft. What I suggest is that if you actually want to see some of these games that are not Xbox Play Anywhere, Xbox Play Anywhere, go talk to the people who develop those games. You know what I'm saying? Go put your energy over there. Go say, hey, you company, your game should be Xbox Play Anywhere. All right, Xbox can't put a gun to these people's head and force them to do things.